Fans, we are live on thehannibaltv.com with another edition, a Christmas edition of Shooting from the Hip, the podcast. My name is Jack Kilby, Executive Vice President of Great North Wrestling, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, the man who is known as the Kingpin, the king of the streets, the still reigning, undefeated, hardcore road trip heavyweight champion of the world, Mr. Angel Medina.
Well, I appreciate the monarchy of king of the streets, but I should be laying in the streets because I'm so tired. So maybe that'd be my new title. Merry Christmas to everybody. It's coming. It's a big event. You have any major things going on for you for the holidays? A little romantic evening in the cabins in Saskatchewan, Canada, or something like that.
Saskatchewan?
Yeah.
No. Actually, as per my long-standing family tradition, I will be traveling down to the United States of America and one of my favorite places in the world, and that is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I have so many great memories from the holiday season in Myrtle Beach. My dad, who passed in 2019, used to take us down every year. We had a condominium in a small little town called Little River, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I remember to this day, and we'll be discussing this in detail, but in terms of Christmas memories, I remember very distinctly being an excited youngster because in Myrtle Beach, we got the Superstation TBS and we got American pay-per-view capability that we didn't have here in Canada for a number of years. And I remember fondly watching the Crockett pay-per-views around this time, the Starrcade, the True Grit, the 88, right, the 87, all of that classic NWA, JCP stuff that I still love to this day. So I have synonymous feelings around Christmas with South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and looking forward to that. What about you, sir? You're putting in a lot of time and putting in a lot of hours on the job, and you're just recovering from that surgery. What are your plans this season?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to the doctor, get some x-rays done on my ankle, get out of this damn boot, which I'm not wearing now, but I have to wear it at work. And today I started yesterday I started skipping rope, see how it feels. Kind of sore, but I'm getting there. And but for the holidays, man, it's just spend time with the family, mostly with my daughter. Mostly just quality time with the families, and not big on the gift thing for me. It's more what my daughter gets out of it and stuff. And that's it, really. Maybe dinner. I always wanted to go to a Chinese restaurant like in Christmas Story, but all of them are damn closed. Not closed, but they're like, oh, we just do takeout order.
They don't do in.
Everyone I go to, they're closed, or they say like, oh, we only do takeout orders.
Well, maybe that's something that would warrant further research, because that is an excellent holiday tradition. Is that your favorite? Not that we're going to talk about movies, but since you brought it up, is that your favorite holiday Christmas movie of all time? A Christmas Story with Peter Billingsley?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I love Christmas Story. Christmas Story. If I was going to put it in order, Christmas Story, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. What's another one?
Die Hard.
Oh, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon. And that's it, really. I could watch that all day, every day.
That Christmas Story is, for those of us of a certain vintage, which we are, that I think stands out for, just every one of us Gen Xers. When we talk about Christmas movies or whatever, that one comes up, and it's quite a, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's not like Miracle on 34th Street or whatever, but for some reason it really resonated with us Gen Xers. Did you happen to see the I think they made a sequel. Did you happen to see that?
The Die Hard sequel?
No, there's a sequel to A Christmas Story.
Oh yeah. It's not really a sequel, it's more like a prequel, because if you watch it, Yeah, it is a sequel, but if you watch it and like you look at it, it's at the ending. It starts like because he wrote like he wrote the story about his life, and then they were like at the end, they're like, oh, read us, read it to us, read it to us, and he just sits there and starts reading it, and then the scene turns into the opening scene of A Christmas Story
Oh,
when they're
really?
running out the house. Yeah, it just fades into it and then it ends the movie. So if you watch it, just watch that one first and then you can watch that one second, like he was
Oh,
reading it
wow.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it is a sequel.
I haven't seen it yet. I didn't know it existed until recently, and then I thought that would be an interesting one to check out. But you
Yeah,
know,
watch that first, the new one, and then watch the second one and you see how it transitions better.
sounds good. I still in the Christmas Story, the first one, I still quote it sometimes, especially in reference to that big leg that the dad won
The
as
leg
a
lamp.
major award. Yep, the leg lamp as a major award. They sell that, I understand too. Is that something that the Kingpin would consider putting in his crib?
I did have a leg lamp one time. I did a long time ago, and it's I mean, it becomes like a nostalgia thing. A lot of people got the leg lamp. There's some place in Oklahoma that has like this ridiculous huge like 20-foot leg lamp. And yeah, people just love it. It's a classic, dude. You know.
Absolutely, and something that was a classic and was a major tradition in the territory days were the number of huge cards that companies presented on Christmas, and
Yeah.
that seems to be something that well, the territories are gone, but it seems to be something that is not really emphasized by the big two companies, if you will. Um, but before we delve into our list, and by no means is this an exhaustive or definitive list, the fans can comment on their own major Christmas angles, memories, moments. Wanted to ask you, Kingpin, what your thoughts are on the news. I guess it came out today. I'm wondering if you heard it or not. That AEW is on track to
The WB.
lose their television deals and are on track to be in the red at the tune of about 34 or 5 million this year. I could be off on that a bit, but a significant sum of money.
Yeah, I just saw something a little while ago while I was watching. Like I was just surfing the internet, and it said that WWE was like in California negotiating a deal with Warner Brothers, and then it just said something like and AEW was doing good or something like that. So it was just a good like a joke, but man, what can you do, man? WWE's always like nothing negative. Like when somebody's coming up with companies, which even though AEW has been around for a minute, it's funny how WWE just comes in and just like fuck shit up for some people, and then like it's just funny how it just transpires like that. They just do something like that. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's $35 million is a drop of a bucket to Tony Khan.
Yeah, that's a good point that some people have commented on. I mean, if this was a normal quote unquote sort of an operation with a limited budget, even looking at when TNA had the Spike TV deal and they were coming on, Panda Energy was a funding body behind TNA, but they had a limited sort of budget. From what everybody talks about the cons, they have a patent that all automobile manufacturers must continue to use. So basically the money is not going to be an issue there. So for a normal company, this would be significantly distressing, but perhaps not for the cons. One facet that people are talking about a lot is the fact that Tony Khan needs to get somebody to help him write the shows and book, because apparently he's still doing it all himself with 3 shows. Is it now What are your thoughts on that, on him as a, basically a super fan, a message board guy, taking all that on himself?
Well, the thing is that, I mean, he doesn't need the help because he already has the help there. He's just not, using the talent that he has at his disposal. You got your Jerry Lynch, you got your Taz, you got your, Billy Gunn. I mean, you got all these individuals that are, Sting. Just because he retired, Sting could be back there. Ric Flair's there. So I mean, that's just the funny. They could bring in the Steamboats, the Andersons. It's just Jim Cornette. It's just that he has a lot of people at his disposal, and he should not take that responsibility on himself, especially if he's not. I'm not saying he doesn't know the business, but it's good to get somebody like the Ric Flairs and stuff to give him some insight of how to run angles to make something, besides the Black Scorpion. But I'm just saying, something definitely will help out the company grow.
Yeah, they seem to have their own Black Scorpion angle going now with this MJF and the Devil's Mask thing. It's
been going on for a while, man.
Interesting to see how they pay that off. Okay, before we leave modern wrestling per se, what are your thoughts on the Ric Flair Woo energy drink? I keep seeing the reviews online and the contents. Would that be something as a self-professed mushroom elixir that the Kingpin would be interested in taking?
I did look online to see when it first came out, and they were selling it on eBay because it wasn't being marketed yet. Dude, for a pack of 6, it was like $30, and I'm like, nah, I'm okay. I'll pick it up at a store, like one can just to try it out. But I'll be damned if I'm gonna pay $30 for 6 energy drinks of Woo Energy. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I'm not saying I don't got the $30 to blow, but I think I could spend that money on something more like a steak.
Yeah, no kidding. And they say on the label that you shouldn't have more than one of these per day. So that's kind of unprecedented in the energy drink industry. Makes you wonder what's in there.
Yeah, but like I said, man, I mean, for $30 a pop, I really don't. I mean, for the 6, but like I said, I would definitely try it if I see it, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to buy it. Maybe if it came with a Rolex and some alligator shoes, possibly it'd be worth it.
Fair enough. Well, as I will be in Flair and Horseman country in a few weeks, I'll let you know if I see it. I'll grab one at a reasonable price or two and send one your way to maybe try, and we could review it on the show because I'm quite interested based on the hype that I'm hearing around it, or lack thereof.
So since you're gonna be in that neck of the woods, maybe you should do like a couple video segments, like a certain nostalgic wrestling area, buildings or certain angles that you saw. I think that would be just awesome, and we could bring it up on the show.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach used to be a perennial stop on the NWA Jim Crockett promotions. I'm not sure whether I believe it was the convention center that they used to run, whether that's there or not, but I can certainly stop in North Carolina and hit some of those. I've always wanted to go to the Greensboro Coliseum. I understand it's still there. Yeah, some podcasters actually wandered in there a couple of years ago and did a whole thing, and there were very few remnants.
Sorry, here in Kansas, when I wrestled in Missouri, and I wasn't really paying attention. I was wrestling in the fucking building where Ric Flair beat our Harley Race at the Kansas City Memorial, whatever it was. I'm half tired, so I can't remember. But yeah, man, I mean that is a classic, building, and I was like, didn't remember that was the building. But when I looked at the video, I'm like, holy shit, yeah, I was at that building. I was there with history.
It's pretty cool the fact that they have a lot of these I heard the Olympic Auditorium in LA where so many classic wrestling matches went down under the LaBelle leadership is now a church for the Moonies, but many of them are still around, notwithstanding the Pontiac Silverdome that they demoed a few years ago now.
You know, it would be a cool thing they should do. Rebuild the Sportatorium in Texas and turn it into a wrestling museum. I know WWE has their, treasures, but I think that would be kind of cool. Rebuild the Sportatorium and kind of do like a walkthrough of history, because like I said, Texas has a lot of history of wrestling, and I think it would be kind of cool.
We'll have to see how that Iron Claw movie does when it hits theaters and wide distribution. Are you planning on checking that one out?
I was just going to mention it, man. I mean, I heard it was supposed to come on Max as well. I got to take a look when I get off here, but yeah, I want to check it out, see if it's good or not, or not good. The only problem with that situation is a lot of people are going to be like, well, that not, how they try to, like the Freddie Mercury movie, right? There's a scene where they mentioned it on TV that they kind of crushed it in because there were certain things. There was a scene that happened in there that didn't really happen at that time. It was like 3-4 weeks after the fact or before the fact, but they kind of put it in one because it was so limited time. So hopefully, and I'm pretty privy, to the Von Erich story and the tragedy. And I mean, I wasn't there, so but I'm pretty knowledgeable of it. So if I watch it and I go, no, that's bullshit, But the only people that could say it's more bullshit is Ric Flair, and the Freebirds,
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of an interesting timing that they've decided now to make it when World Class has been out of business for so long, and so many of the family have passed. But I'm definitely going to see it. I'm a little bit skeptical in terms of some of the casting, notwithstanding the skill of that Jeremy Allen White actor from so many good television series, most recently The Bear. I don't see him as being Kerry Von Erich. I mean, Kerry Von Erich was a specimen of specimens, and about 6'3", 270, and Jeremy Allen White is not. And I know they can do a lot through the magic of cinematography, but we'll see if that's an issue that would take you out of suspending disbelief.
The only problem with that individual is that he's not as muscular as the modern day war. Yeah, so when I watched it, I'm like, he needs to be more. I'm not making fun of him, but if you know about the modern day warrior, the guy was jacked, bigger than his brother.
For his whole life, one of the top physiques of that time frame for sure. Kind of a what Rick Rude would be if he had the mass. So, anyway,
absolutely.
Interesting to check. We'll check that out over the break and come back and maybe do a few comments. But in terms of Christmas related memories, don't want to go with what is undoubtedly the number one memory and moment of so many people when polled on the matter. We'll get to that, but wanted to talk about a few of them that are memorable in their own right. We might as well start off with Santa Claus, your former ECW compadre, Paul Mahoney. For those fans that don't remember, this was a part of an angle with Ted DiBiase, who came out and tried to buy off Savio Vega. Vega apparently said no. Then Santa attacked him, and they did quite a nice little brawl in the ring and up the aisle. And it was Balls Mahoney who they brought back again to do a couple of more matches. What do you remember and think about that little gem?
No, I remember fully. It's just when it happened, I'm like, Santa Claus. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's horrible. And but I heard that when they did that type of angle, it didn't last long because it kind of put a bad taste in regards to Saint Nick, and it kind of killed the gimmick. I think Balls told me that he got paid. They were very apologetic about that because we used to joke with him like, oh, what the fuck ever happened there with that Santa Claus? And he said just people were complaining, and he left on good terms, and I remember he said something about not a letter of recommendation, but just say how he was an exemplary employee and stuff like that. So he had nothing negative to say about it. He just said that it was almost like the when September 11th happened, and oh my God, the Arabian
Muhammad Hassan.
Yeah, he was so hot, and then when the towers fell, they had to kill it, man, because it was causing a lot of uproar.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
After I believe the advertisers threatened to pull out with Hassan after a couple of the angles where he had masked individuals come out, et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of balls, did he let anybody know that he was tapped for this job before he came out on television, the whole deal, or do you remember any of that?
That I don't know, because I really don't know, because I only knew the story because we sat down when he was Balls Mahoney and he told us the story, but I don't know if anybody else knew that he was going to be under maybe like Candido and Bill, because they were so tight. I wouldn't be surprised they knew, but as far as I knew, I didn't hear anything. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think that was a deal that Cornette put together for him, given his work in Smoky Mountain. But
Baby Huey or whatever. I think he was doing the big old Baby Huey gimmick.
He was Boo Radley or something like that. He was playing kind of a character along those lines. But yeah, it's interesting that Balls never got another shot in WWF really of any note. What did he ever talk to you about that? Why, after having a good little deal there, he did his job well, blah blah blah. They never looked at him again.
No, he never. Like I said, he never brought it up. Like I said, we just had that conversation, and we just brought up the Santa Claus thing, but it was never a topic after that.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly, as we're talking about it here, X number of decades later, it's one that the fans still remember.
I want to apologize to the fans. I'm yawning here, so I do apologize.
No worries. You're a hardworking man, and it's to be expected that sometimes you just gotta power through, which is what you're known for, right? Powering through the pain, powering through the fatigue. That's why they call you the Kingpin. What about the in terms of a deep cut? The United States Wrestling Association in the 90s had a character called the Christmas Creature, which was kind of a character. If you've seen it on YouTube or whatever, he was kind of a candy cane Christmas tree wrapped outfit, blah blah blah. And he'd come in and he'd punish certain wrestlers, and it was Kane underneath all that. Are you familiar with that little angle?
I heard about it, but I just never saw it firsthand. But I did hear about it, and I kind of popped for it. I'm surprised nobody came out as Krampus.
Well, if you listen to Cornette's podcast, he talks about this still as being a rather dubious idea that he put it in the category of many of the other character style wrestlers that Memphis did over the years, including the horror movie characters and whatnot. The next one I wanted to ask you, I missed this entirely, and when I saw it during the research, I was kind of interested.
Uh-huh.
But in 1985, Roddy Piper did a takeoff on A Christmas Carol and was playing an Ebenezer Scrooge type character, and he was visited by spirits. And in Roddy Piper fashion, he never learned anything from the whole ordeal, and that aired on Tuesday Night Titans. Did you happen to see that at all?
I did see a little bit of it. Like I said, it was such a long time ago, but it was kind of good. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it's so hard to remember because it's been so long. But I remember I kind of popped for it a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't out of Piper's wheelhouse in terms of that sort of unrepentant character. I will always think of him as one of the better wrestlers to segue into acting, and I know that that carries a large swath with it. But did you? I'm sure you've seen by now, which is becoming a more popular film by the month, it seems, given our current environment. Did you see him in They Live?
Yeah, I seen him in They Live. I even seen him before that when he wrestled. It was man, look at that tear. I'm like Gion in here.
It's okay. It'll be all right, Kingpin.
No, but there was a movie he did with Benedict from the A Team and the Tonga Kid.
Are you thinking about that series with Jesse Ventura when he was tag team? That short-lived thing?
Yeah, it was a short. It was not a series. It was just a movie, and shit, it was Tonga Kid, Roddy Piper as a tag team, and Benedict as the manager. And that was, I mean, that was when my Piper was younger, and it was pretty good, you know.
Wasn't Jesse Ventura in that one too, or am I thinking of something completely different?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I can't remember if
The only movie I can remember of him before They Live is Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Wasn't that the when he played the priest?
Jeez, I'm gapping. I should do better research, I guess.
No, you're doing great, man. I'm doing, you know, like I said, so many things out there that we're just trying to remember, you know, off the cuff.
The only tag team one I remember was called Tag Team, and it was going to be on ABC, and it had Ventura. It was him and Ventura in it, unless I'm completely mistaken.
No, I'll find it. I find it. It's just I'm just trying to remember. You know,
if any of the fans are watching that know what we're talking about here, please jump in. But he was, I think, a very underrated actor, and you know, for the period of time, what a great action / sci-fi film They Live with.
And that movie was called Body Slams, and that came out in September 10th, 1986. Right now, you can see it on Tubi for free. And
yes, how did I miss that one? Yeah, for sure.
And it's on Amazon Prime. But yeah, it was Dirk Benedict, Roddy Piper, Lou Albano, Tanya Robertson, the guy who played Gomez Adams, John Austin. And it was just, no, there's no Jesse Ventura wasn't in it.
That's a pilot that they did for a TV series, I believe, for ABC called Tag Team, and that had Jesse and Roddy in it as the leads.
Oh, dude, there was one show that I loved, and it was about Liza Zato.
I knew you were going to say that. Learning the ropes,
man. Yep. He was playing the mask, and he was the teacher. And they had Ric Flair, they had Ronnie Garv, and the Road
Warriors.
Yeah, that was my favorite show.
That ran one season, and it was a Canadian production. It was by CTV up here, and what a cult classic. Lila Zato was a great actor in his.
He could have been a great wrestler. You know, I mean, the size, his look. He could have transitioned into pro wrestling very, very easily because he just had that not bad temper, but he was known for that bad temper.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, learning the ropes, I loved it. I loved that. I always caught it. You know,
I wonder if it's on YouTube. I haven't looked it up in a long time, but that would be interesting to.
The actual show itself on YouTube.
Yeah, episodes of the show.
Probably. I mean, yeah, I'll probably look it up. But yeah, I mean, back to the Christmas stuff. We're like trailing off here, you know.
Well, back to the Christmas stuff. The other thing that the other issue that jumps out a lot is a Merry Primetime Christmas. That was on the Primetime Wrestling on the USA Network, and it was a full episode with Heenan and Monsoon, with matches in between. But people remember Bobby the Brain as Santa, and still talk about it to this day. It is on YouTube. I saw that or looked it up recently. Did you remember Primetime Wrestling with Heenan and Monsoon? Did you
Oh
watch that?
yeah, I watched it all the time. It was freaking funny as hell.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
know, I think the last thing I remember was they were doing some type of a beauty pageant with some fat chicks.
The Rossetti sisters.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. That was pretty
yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah. What a brilliant duo. I do remember this episode and Heenan being Santa Claus. Man, they don't make him like that anymore. That was comedy gold. And I read that they had such a strong friendship that they would just riff off each other during these tapings and didn't really have any sort of a run sheet or anything.
Oh, absolutely, man. Sometimes when you with somebody and you know them, like me and DeVito, you know, we just banter off each other. You know, like right now he's inducted like man and male of the year, and I was just like, I just posted it a little while ago. Are you shitting me? Are you serious? You know, and he just like, well, you know, and we just threw out the joke like, well, I see somebody's hating, you know, but we just, well, you know, we just jump off each other. He's like in the Hall of Fame. He's, you know, for the most shortest wrestler, and also and man of the year for this. I was like, what,
What's the
motherfucker?
Man of the Year organization?
He is doing it for I'll tell you right now. Yeah, he just posted it a little while ago. Um, where is it? Yeah, right here. It is for the ALW Atomic Legacy Wrestling Male Star of the Year. ALW 2023 Year End Award, ladies and gentlemen. ALW, whatever. So that's in the 2023 Male Star of the Year is Tony DeVito. Some people, yeah, just breaking it down that he, you know, and I'm like, man, they must have been desperate. You know, they couldn't figure somebody else out. You know.
Well, next year you will be on the ballot when you make your tremendous return.
Oh man, that shit don't put no money in my pocket. So I mean, if it happens, it happens. But you know, I'm happy for DeVito. I just I don't want to tell him in his face because then he'll get.
You're not going to put him over.
Oh no,
What
I'm not
about
gonna put over.
what about Kurt Angle versus Santa Claus at Armageddon 2004? Do you remember that?
Oh hell yeah,
Angle? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Taz was involved.
Oh yeah, that I remember. Yeah, that was awesome. I liked it. It was pretty entertaining. You know, Kurt Angle makes everything entertaining, man. You know.
Taz was one of the little elves there. I'm wondering if he signed off on that beforehand or whether or not that because isn't he notoriously what's
Short.
the word sensitive? Well, short but sensitive about his height.
I heard stories about that he's sensitive about his height, but I mean, I never came across it. You know, um, I never noticed it, but probably because I always looked over him, so I didn't really see, you know, that's a. But I mean, yeah, he was short, but you know, that's something that he had to overcome, especially in this business where, you know, if you're too short, then you know, possibly you making it will not work. You know, I mean, Homicide's short. You know,
There are exceptions to the rule, and boy, he was a beast in his day. But yeah, Kurt Angle, what a talent missed in the modern era in terms of his in ring work and comedic chops, his acting skills. He was just tremendous, face or heel.
oh, oh yeah, absolutely, face or heel. You know,
Here's a deep cut. What about 2007 TNA, the Silent Night,
Deadly Night with the
Bloody
fucking
Night
Christmas
match?
tree.
Yep, the Silent Night, Bloody Night match with Shark Boy, Relic, Abyss, Relic being Dustin Rhodes. Sorry, Black Rain being Dustin Rhodes in a kind of like a Monsters Ball free for all weapons match underneath a Christmas tree made entirely of barbed wire. You're right.
Yeah, I saw it. I remember catching it. I thought it was garbage. It didn't make any sense. You know, it was a train wreck in the making. But I mean, I watched it. I don't know where the fuck I was watching it from. Meaning, like if I paid for the pay per view or I was watching it at somebody's house. But it was horrible, horrible. Didn't make any sense. You know.
Yeah, it kind of ranks up there in along with the King of the Mountain in terms of nonsensical TNA matches in history. And I'm not a TNA hater. In fact, I love classic TNA. The Monsters Ball was a thing of beauty, but that one is certainly a kind of a low light, so to speak.
Well,
Wonder
yeah, I
why
mean,
they didn't do it again.
yeah, but TNA, I mean, like I said, they have, I mean, it's been around forever. They have some awesome matches. So, I mean, there's nothing negative about it. You know, I can't shit on them forever. You know, they do have their moments.
No, absolutely, and I think during that period that they were on Spike TV, etc., they had a hell of a good product. It's too bad that things went down the way that they did, and they kind of petered out. But now there's still a Canadian owned promotion of sorts. I haven't watched them in years. Have you? Have you kept up with any of their product? No. Eh?
They keep flip flopping back and forth from Impact to TNA to, you know, just I don't, like I said, I don't really watch wrestling as I used to, but I mean, you know, I just catch it whenever I catch it or whatever sparks my interest. But I never even I never even catch the show till its entirety.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'll watch a few clips, and that's about it. The number one undisputed, though, Christmas related wrestling moment, angle, etc., not event, but the latter. If you do a survey of folks who are asked about this or countdowns or whatever, the number one moment is during the Attitude Era in WWE when Stone Cold Steve Austin gave Santa a stunner. Do you recall that? Do you recall that?
Yeah, but it gets kind of confusing because I remember when Goldust came out of it in a diaper and he got stunned too. You know, so I don't know if that was the same time frame. So, but I remember it. It was pretty funny. Like I said, I mean, sometimes some angles that you do, you know, it's not too childish and not too corny. I mean, it was pretty entertaining. And then when he stunned Santa Claus, people pop. So I think it was one of those number one things that you could always remember. Like that, it was freaking funny. You know?
Yeah, and it was thinking back at the time, it was, you know, kind of at a moment where something like that was still had shock value for the audience because it was, you know, fairly early on in the Attitude Era when, you know, all the stuff that would transpire thereafter hadn't. So it was shocking and entertaining at the time. I know I still remember it well, and so do absolutely everybody else, it seems. Have you ever been in the ring yourself with Santa Claus, an elf, or any such character?
Nah, I never been in any type of I'm trying to just recollect, but no, I never been in any type of matches that included any Santa or elves or anything like that. Like I said, the only thing I only recall that I ever was involved in was Massacre on 34th Street. That's the only Christmas related thing I remember.
Would that be your? Because I wanted to ask you. I'll just reiterate my most notable Christmas related wrestling deal, and that would be, you know, in addition to the Jim Crockett promotion, Starrcade pay per views that I would get, as I talked about it as an adolescent. You know, those big cards. I think the title match between Ric Flair and Kerry Von Erich in World Class, where Michael Hayes was the you know, the special referee, and Gordy slammed. I think Gordy slamming the cage on Kerry's head remains one of those unforgettable, most defining moments of biggest moments in 80s wrestling. And World Class were one of those promotions that would run huge shows at Christmas. So just that particular angle that kicked off the whole Freebird Von Erich feud and did, you know, huge business for a number of years. I think that sticks out in my mind a lot.
I remember that. I remember that. You know, to that day. I mean, the fans were just crazy. They couldn't get out the fucking the cage because people wanted to kill them. That's what
Yep.
they did. So I mean, it was classic. The Freebirds did a great angle, especially like you said, the way Gordy slammed that cage door looked like definitely hit him hard. But of course, he was able to block it, and it was just tremendous.
You never, just getting off topic a bit, but you never worked with, you weren't in ECW when Gordy did his cameos in there, right?
No, I never met Gordy. Just before I got there.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ! I just see a picture of Perry Saturn, fat. He should be coming down the chimney real soon. And he got a bunch of fucking pills on his coffee table with some crackers and a
dude.
Diet Coke.
He's had a tough life. He's a hero. He's a hero.
Him. I can't stand that motherfucker. Fuck him. You know why I can't? You know why I can't stand him? Not because like disrespectfully, because he's been in the business. Is when I first got to ECW, I was getting ready for a match, and I was doing some referee angle for that Paul wanted me to do, and I was just getting ready, and he was sitting next to Axel, and he was just talking shit about me. Don't know me, never never talked to me. I always said hi when I came in, but like I said, he is like believed his own hype. And that's why you always got to live that philosophy, man. The same people you meet on the way up is the same people you're going to meet on the way down. And now that his whole life, and the guy made his money, you can't say like, oh, but he made his money and he blew it. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm just surprised this guy's still breathing. I mean, because of all the drugs and all the things he's done. He got shot for stopping somebody getting raped and stuff. I mean, I commend him for that, but it has some mental issues. Fuck him.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if you look at, we're talking off air about the incident with Mad Dog Mike Bell.
Oh yeah,
and that unprofessional incident where he threw him out of the ring like that on his head and brutalized him. I understand, even though at the time it was kind of painted as a one-off. Yeah. If you talk to other wrestlers which I have over on Cheap Heat Productions wrestling podcast, they will tell you this was not an isolated sort of occurrence with Saturn, and he was often rough and unprofessional for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, if I would have met him today, man. The funny thing is the way he did Mike Bell. I mean, like right now, all these years later, I know he doesn't get in the ring, but let's say he got in the ring with somebody and just give him a sheet, like beat his ass for that reason, because it comes back in full circle.
Well, he certainly was an enigmatic character that he did have a good career, but holy cow, is he understand at one point in time he was homeless, and look at how he looks now. When he was he gassed to the gills around 99, 2000 or what?
Oh yeah, man. He was gassed to the gills. He was living under a bridge like a troll, collecting coins, pay the toll to the troll. Like I said, I have no sympathy, for the guy, because like I said, he made his money. He could have done something positive, to keep his money working for him, but he blew it, and that's the thing about some of these stars that think that money's gonna keep coming like a conveyor belt. You got to invest your money and make sure that your money's right when you retire.
Yeah, and then they have no actual shoot job to fall back on or anything. It's kind of sad. So he was just talking trash about you or big leaguing you?
He's just talking trash about me, man. He was one of those guys that just believed. Like I said, if it wasn't like Axel or somebody, RVD, but when it was always the new guys coming in, he always talks shit. I would have loved to wrestle him. I will beat the brakes off him. I would have definitely got my revenge. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm not bitter, but I'm just saying, like, just to get back in the ring with him, just to give him a little taste, like in the Goodfellas, just a little taste, and that's it, man.
Well, it seems like karma, even though that's the improper use of the term, has caught up with him. What would be your most memorable Christmas wrestling related moment, like you were talking about your own experience or any other? The Massacre?
Yeah, I think the Massacre. I think that's the one that's that sticks in my head because it was different. It was not really a Christmas theme. You know, it was, but it wasn't. So you didn't see nobody come to the ring in a sleigh. It was just more of like, oh, you know, Massacre on 34th Street because the Miracle on 34th Street. It was during, you know, it's December. So kind of, you can still have a wrestling show, but not have like wrestling gimmicks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, it's certainly something that a phenomenon, if you will, that you know has lost a lot of the luster, and there I don't know. There's many reasons for that, but maybe it's just a different market, and families don't want to go out and you know attend a show on Christmas Day or whatnot, Christmas night. But
they did it during the Sportatorium era.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, day after Thanksgiving and the day after Christmas, they had like shows.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe times have changed, but there's certainly a number of, you know, great, and we just scratched the surface here, a number of great memories and events that we can check out. Now, before we wrap it up, I just wanted to get your impressions of the major stories of the business in this year. Out of all of them, what jumps out to you as the most noteworthy?
I don't know. What do you think? What's your opinion?
Well, I think if you look at it from a straight business perspective, the merger between UFC and WWE is huge. That consortium, that new company, and just this past week, they were talking about reducing or eliminating house shows. So I think that in the long run could be except for premium live events. I think that could be a huge deal for independent wrestling and other companies to start running shows again and get a foothold, because the business model of UFC is entirely different than the traditional WWE model, where it was a live event product, and UFC is a television company for the most part.
Yeah,
and I think they're gonna model or mold WWE into that as well, which could create opportunities for smaller companies, maybe AEW, whatever, to go in there and start running those. They used the term, you know, B counties, C counties, blah, blah, blah. So smaller markets. I think if they pair those and get rid of them, it could be a potential change. And I think that may be the biggest story. But of course, you know, from a crime and punishment perspective, there's the Sonny sentencing as well.
Yeah, or with the hell froze over of CM Punk showing up on.
Right.
You know, because I would never have thought that he would show up.
Right. That's an important point too. And look at the buzz and the excitement and the ratings. Do you think that CM Punk will finally headline one of the WrestleMania nights?
Yeah, I mean, if he keeps his nose clean, and you know, which he would, I don't see him not performing at WrestleMania as one of the main events, especially if he's doing something with Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it has to be main event.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Maybe Cody Roman one night and Punk Rollins the other. Before we wrap it up, and thank you for soldiering on.
I'm trying,
Kingpin, with your hard work and your fatigue. I just wanted to personally thank you for all the work that we've done here this year. We've laid a great foundation with this. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, I hope maybe you forgot about it, but it's always there. Thank you personally for you know, your wisdom, your involvement in the show. We've laid a great foundation. I think we've got a wealth of topics and information to cover in 2024. The fans, we continue to get positive feedback on social media from our fan base. Do you have any thoughts on the year that was in Shooting from the Hip, the show?
No, I mean for this year, man, I think it was awesome just collaborating with you, coming up with the different ideas to make the show more exciting. The what if segments, talking about holiday stuff, just like I said, just shooting from the hip without any script. I think it's been a blessing this year. Also doing the guy with Maurice, that was pretty fun. Getting to know new people, from Ireland, making jokes about like, oh, you have any black people there? Because I never do see any. And but I mean, it's just this one thing about this business that when you do podcasting or wrestling, you start meeting people from all works of life. And I think shooting from the hip is just something that is it's still still is in its infancy, and it's still growing, and we're just cultivating it and molding it and just doing little different things here and there to see what works, what doesn't work, and that's what's the fun part about it, and the fans being part of it, to see like, oh yeah, I remember they did this and I remember they did that, and how it evolved. So I think the fans will appreciate like when one day we'll do like, like like a collage of all the shows and see how it transitioned from a certain point to a better product, which I'm not saying is not a better product, but anything that you always gets better, you know. But I just think, like I said, this year has been great, and I'm just looking forward for 2024.
Yes, sir. We're going to do a New Year show coming up in early January. I think we're going to hit that what if well again. We'll encourage the fans, if you haven't subscribed to the HannibalTV.com, click the button for notifications. We'll make sure that you're up to date with all the programming on the Hannibal TV, but specifically with Shooting from the Hip. And I think we're only going to top things in 2024, including hopefully some live Shooting from the Hip shows from the CAC convention in Las Vegas. You've got it on your calendar, Kingpin. I have.
I'm looking forward to that, man. I mean, I've been like, I've been thinking about it, just letting it marinate. I think it's just going to be so much fun. I even probably see me in a tux. Maybe I could wear a tux with no sleeves like Hogan.
Wow, if anybody could pull it off, it will be you. So we're looking at a number of initiatives on the show. So fans, again, thank you so much for your support this year of this podcast and the Hannibal TV Cheap Heat Productions as well. We sincerely appreciate it and all the feedback, and stay tuned for a banner year in 2024. Kingpin, final thoughts, and then we're out.
Well, hopefully I'll be off the 410s, so I can have a regular work schedule. And but just to let you know, I will probably be going to second, what you call it, fortnight? No, that's when you get paid.
It's called afternoons.
Yeah, you don't say like second shift, third shift, third shift. Yeah.
You chastised me for that, and I had a legitimate excuse for being ignorant.
Well, I mean, like I said, when you said fortnight, whatever, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. I'm like, what? Because we say bi-weekly. I still don't get the fortnight. I really don't. I mean, I understand if you explain it, but still doesn't make sense. But like I said, but it's probably the same thing like bi-weekly. What is bi-weekly? Is like some transgender payday.
potato, but you'll be back to a schedule involving afternoon shifts.
Yeah. So we'll probably just do like the weekends, because again, I'll be working from 3:30 to midnight, so that's not gonna help. So
one last question here from Maurice, my partner on the Cheap Heat Productions podcast. He's saying, is Sunny Hoe of the Year Kingpin?
Oh yeah, definitely. She's the hoe of the year. She's gonna be washing people's drawers when she'd be in the prison. She's gonna be like, especially being a celebrity, and now being the diva she was. Now that she's probably gonna get her ass kicked. She's gonna probably be somebody's bitch in there and stuff, and take a commissary, and washing people's underwear in the sink. I mean, I'm. You know what we should do? We should write to her. Nothing bad.
You mentioned that before. Maybe get her on a phone interview or something.
I don't know how that works in prison, but
they do it. Yeah, we could do that. Why don't you send her a note? Send her a nice Christmas card and see what happens from there.
After I called her a piece of shit, and then hey, this is the Kingpin, you know, blah blah blah. Hopefully she don't like.
But you can say what all the people in the wrestling business say. You could say, "Look, I was working. I'm trying to start an angle here."
That's true. Well, hey, let's just figure it out, man. Let's see if let's just throw that coin in the well and see if it makes brings something up. So maybe 2024 will be a year. We'd be the first people to interview Sonny.
Well, if there's any way impossible that we can continue to do new and exciting things on this channel, we will. But folks, Kingpin has to hit the hay because he's a working man, has to get up early, and he's going to go at it again. Myself, I'm going to continue to engage in Great North Wrestling business into the wee hours. So I want to thank you again for all your patronage watching the show this year. We'll see you in 2024.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Twitter